It's update
Thursday.
It's update
Thursday.
What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going phenomenal, but if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Speaking of such, it has been 11 weeks. We almost got a time machine, boys. It has been 11 months and 2 weeks of kicking rheumatoid arthritis' ass. Health-wise, if there's anything I am excited to get over with, is the spring, because my allergies have completely destroyed me. And yeah, that's just part of the thing when you have a weaker immune system from rheumatoid arthritis. But of course, as you already know, there is a two-parter to update Thursday. Not only do we talk about my rheumatoid arthritis health, we normally have something to talk about for today. The biggest thing I want to talk about is acceptance. Unfortunately, even though we are in 2022, it becomes hard for people to accept others for their sexual preference amongst other things, and it really perplexes me because statistically, at least one member in every family is a part of the LGBTQIA community. I mean, in my family alone, I have 2 gay sisters, my wife is bisexual, and so is... I might have enough to cover multiple families. So it was a no-brainer a couple of years ago when a friend proposed that we make a tournament with all of the proceeds going to the Trevor Project. Basically, for the people that did not know, the Trevor Project is a LGBTQ suicide prevention for the LGBTQ youth. It was almost a no-brainer for us to do it. And of course, for Pride Month, we're going to be running it back again as our annual thing. If you want to know more information about joining the tournament, because there's going to be some amazing prizes, how you can contribute, and any other useful information, be sure to join my Discord, as we're going to be making a section strictly for that. Now, I know a couple of you guys may have to budget your time for being in that event, and also from participating in other events, and of course, to hide your secret stash away from your partner. Don't worry guys, today we're going to be talking about the top 5 competitive budget decks this format. It's not going to eat too much into your stash, but I'm telling you, when it comes to competitively budget, these decks are insane. So of course, let's jump on in so we can start talking about these strategies, and of course, save your wallet, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be expensive. What I actually love about this particular Yu-Gi-Oh! Format is that it isn't 100% solved yet. Yes, there are extremely dangerous cards like Dimensional Barrier, being able to lock the opponent out of Fusion, Synchro Summoning, Exceed, and Pendulum, and then there are cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance that definitely showed their heads at the events of last weekend, but if you can play around those cards, your strategy already has a leg up. There's also the Mystic Mind card, a card that has been heavily featured throughout the weekend. Being able to play around Mystic Mind or being able to take advantage of Mystic Mind seems to be what the format is about right now. With that being said, I compiled a list of the 5 most competitive strategies for this particular format, and I'll even be including deck lists for everybody that is a part of my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editors. Now, in no way my word is absolute, but these strategies have proven themselves to be some of the top contenders inside of the format by topping events or just having things in their favor. Of course, if you have anything that you want to add, some strategies that you feel are extremely budget and competitive, of course I want you to comment down below. You can even order these from best to worst. What do you think is the best competitive budget deck that I have here? And what do you think is the worst? I'm not going to put them in any particular order. The first strategy I want to talk to you about, which is extremely budget, but does scale to the expensive side once you get ultraly competitive in the Yu-Gi-Oh!, is ACCESSCODE. Now, ACCESSCODE is a link-based deck predominantly, so it completely dodges the effects of Dimensional Barrier, and since it doesn't need a ton of spell cards to be able to operate, it can play around Anti-Spell Fragrance. This deck can also really easily play Mystic Mind inside of the deck, because it doesn't rely on summoning a ton of monsters to the side of the field, so if your opponent has 3 or more monsters on the field, you can easily make your board within those confines without your opponent being able to activate important monster effects. The deck's win condition is the Arrival Cyberse ACCESSCODE. This monster is unaffected by card effects when it's on the field, and players can summon it to upwards of 6,000 attack. That is incredible. Since there isn't a lot of non-effect removal in the card game, a lot of times summoning this huge monster to your side of the field can be a complete death sentence for some of the top meta decks. Also, there isn't another competitive strategy in Yu-Gi-Oh! To do it better, as Access Code Talker can be made easily inside of this deck if you have the budget or the card already. This is a strategy that can make Access Code Talker, I mean, if you use the Arrival monster at 7,300 attack, yo! It can also give Access Code Talker the ability to destroy 6 monsters on your opponent's side of the field, seeing that you do play a Link monster for every different attribute, and of course, you can give it the ability to attack twice. Add Ignister Sight bursts into the scene as a fairly good competitive budget deck that is not only top 32'd at the YCS Hartford, but has topped multiple regional events throughout the course of the new format. Crikey, mate! In a format with Mystic Mind and Extra Deck? Alright. Dino don't need none of that. Dino nowadays is almost synonymous with budget, with Animador and Archosaur being reprinted in the 2021 Mega 10s, as well as us not needing an Extra Deck. Dinos is exactly what you need, mate. I love it when some of the top strategies still play the Adventure Token engine, and one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is being Sword Soul. That means that not only can Token Collector get so much value out of going against those particular strategies, it can still trigger the effect of Lost World, which makes up for us having Miscellaneous Sarasab 1 and makes Dinos a lot more consistent. And of course, speaking of Miscellaneous Saras, making all of your Dino monsters unaffected for an entire phase means that our Ultimate Conductor Tyranno can attack over our opponent's board, and seeing that we're an amazing going second deck, well, Mystic Mind can easily get destroyed by a Lost World when we want to turn off our plays. That's 3 additional Miscellaneous Sauruses. Dinos are just simply the perfect budget deck right now, mate. Being able to play the Shadal engine when you want to go first or second, summon that Shadal Winder to stop those combo heavy decks, or you want to play a Scrap engine if you can afford it, make some huge combos, all the way down to actually playing the Branded engine, which is extremely cheap and very doable to Dino, or even Pure, because what goes for a boomerang must come back around, mate. Thank you, Outback Cali. That was definitely a great display on how the Dino deck can compete in the meta. Another strategy that is just really good inside of this current Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta just so happens to be DDD. Now, not only did DDD get a top 32 at YCS Hartford, it's a strategy that you can't necessarily just dimensional barrier. The reason is because the DDD strategy consists of Synchro, Fusion, Pendulum, Exceed, and of course, you already know those powerful Link summons that completely skirt the dimensional barrier card. And the thing that I actually really love about DDD is not only did the Ghost from the Past 2 set have some really good reprints, one of its best cards in DDD Deuce King Machinic X, Machinic X DDD Deuce King. How do you say this card's name? DDD Divisor King Deuce Machina X is a very powerful card that allows you to attach your opponent's monsters, and anytime you do get disrupted on one of your DDD monsters, you can just slap it to your side of the field, almost guaranteeing you will have a board. This deck's core is ridiculously cheap, and if you ever want to do them down and dirty, then this might be the deck you're fiending for, because the DDD isn't... I don't gotta explain myself. Silence, you fool! There can only be one of the best decks. And seeing that I'm here amongst your presence, peasant, I am here to tell you that you can join the zombie community. Not only will the Outlet strategy be one of the cheapest strategies because of maximum gold El Dorado, it also secured 2 spots in the top 32 bracket and spots all across regionals and other events alike. But maybe Outlet doesn't suit your fancy. I'm the king of the undead as well. Zombie World is easily one of the most powerful strategies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Simply because resolving the effect of Zombie World knocks so many decks out of contention. So many strategies like Fluundereese and Sword Soar ultra reliant on their cards staying exactly what they are. Activating and resolving a Zombie World outright wins them the game. But even against strategies that may not care about their typing, Well, even Cali the Don must respect super polymerization. Zombie World got enough support in Dimension Force to make it a force to be reckoned with. And if you side on the place with zombies, a strategy that has been underrepresented, can of course play Mystic Mine, of course can play around Anti-Spell Fragrance, Doom King Baladrock activates it from the deck, and doesn't necessarily care about Dimensional Barrier, then you may be on the right pace. And finally is another strategy that is extremely budget. Unfortunately, it didn't do too well at YCS Hartford, but I think it's because players think that this strategy is dead, where no, it's actually still really good. Tri-Brigade is yet another amazing strategy that can play under Anti-Spell Fragrance and is completely unaffected by cards like Dimensional Barrier, so regardless if you play it in your main board or your sideboard, Tri-Brigade can skirt around it. How the Tri-Brigade monsters work is that they can banish BBWs, which is an acronym for Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast. Do not look this up on Google. I promise you, you will find different results unless you're looking for those results. To be able to special summon link BBW monsters from your extra deck to your side of the field. In no way, shape, or form did you hear Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, or Pendulum, but surprisingly, this is a strategy that still gains advantages from the branded package. What some players don't know about the Tri-Brigade strategy is that it can still fusion summon into Mirror Jade without the use of branded fusion or Predaplantvert Anaconda. This gives the strategy a lot of versatility. It can fusion summon, but it's not necessary to facilitate the combos. The deck can also synchro summon into Notoria Beast, a card that is extremely powerful in this format. With all of those amazing spell cards going around, it'd be shame if somebody summoned Notoria Beast on you. Which of course can stop popular board breaking cards like Mystic Mine, but I haven't talked about how Tri-Brigade Charade really steals the show here, being able to non-targeting banish a card on the field, and then when sent to the graveyard, allows you to add a BBW monster from your deck to your hand according to the number of monsters banished that you banish for your Tri-Brigade cards, which is kind of ridiculous. I genuinely love to say that I like my girls BBW, and the Tri-Brigade strategy is not only incredibly cheap, it's actually a really powerful deck inside of this format. And that is all that I have for the top 5 competitive budget decks this format. I want you to let me know down below in the comment section what are some other top 5 competitive budget decks that you feel are really good. Also, if you want to, be sure to list these in order from best to least, and go ahead and check out these videos if you want to see more TCG Cali, this channel if you want to see Master Duel Cali, as I'll catch you on the next one.